never too late to be the person you want to be.
I tend to have these interesting moments of self-evaluation and reflection late at night, which is my favorite time, by the way, because it's silent. I'm left alone with my thoughts. My creative juices genuinely normally start flowing in the AMs anyway, and I have the time to plot my world domination, which is a haha thing. Very man dark Dexter vibes, but it's true because I feel like in order to execute my goals and my life plan, that's just what's needed. And I've just been sitting here and I've been thinking that in an attempt not to be someone who's riding on cliches, but everything happens for a reason, I got into business, got addicted to it. I really wanted to be the next teen entrepreneur. I was obsessed with reading about kids who started their businesses young and etc. But like given school and just the upbringing and the environment, that wasn't really something that panned out for me. And I just knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, maybe because of my competitive spirit, Forbes 100 and 30 under 30, and just being an accomplished teen millionaire was something that I always wanted to accomplish and achieve. Stemming on from that, I just knew innovation was in my DNA. That's just who I was. That's who I was supposed to be. I remember a lot of businessmen would ask me, oh, what business do you want to get into? But I didn't have an answer for that because I just loved business in general. And I think it was just the idea of creation, of starting successful companies from the ground up and just moving on and like just doing what I love to do, which is just being a creator and an innovator. And throughout all that time, I just had this idea and just wanted to pursue this life. And I think when you're that type of person, a lot of the time, systematic structures like in a university or school system just doesn't align with you. And then came the implosion. And I think my implosion mainly came from the fact that I felt like I was stuck, like I couldn't pursue the life that I wanted to. And I just looked at myself walking down a path where the finish line didn't seem appealing to me. So, yeah, I'm just the type of person who I can't be put in a box and I can't be forced into a life that I don't believe in because that's just not in my DNA. And then the implosion led to my spiritual awakening. And now we're circling back to the everything happens for a reason conversation because I feel like I had my foundation set very solid in the physical manifestation aspect of my being, like the entrepreneurship, the money, the success, the fortune, the innovation. But my internal landscape needed to be reformed, restructured as to make a very solid structure because one without the other makes for a very shaky building. My internal geography had to be fixed and rewired and set very solid. Like my root system had to be, it just had to branch out into the ground. And now it's like success could come into my life tomorrow. I could be a trillionaire, a billionaire. Like I could go into the music industry and a lot of weird things could happen, but at the end of the day, my root structure and my belief system and what I'm heading for and what I want to achieve and the impact I want to get into this world is just cemented so deeply into the structure and the ground and the soil that it would take more than a hurricane to knock my tree over type thing. And for a while I was just so frustrated because I wanted to be this like young protege type thing. But I feel like it all happened very systematically because first of all, I had to find that love of innovation and entrepreneurship. And then I had to feel real pain. And not just pain because something happened. I remember having a conversation with someone when I was depressed, and he was like, yeah, like, he was talking about when someone passed away and how they dealt with it. And I'll never take away from loss, because that is a type of pain that can't be matched. But what really messed me up is that my pain was pain without cause. There's a certain type of almost comfort or reassurance that comes from, I am upset because of A, B, C, D, or E. There's a different type of mental stress that comes to you when you can't put a reason behind your despair. And that's where I was. And I realized my whole mission on this earth is to aid and help people who are at rock bottom, one of my missions. And there was no way that I would have reached the level of empathy, understanding, or even self-evolution and self-actualization that I am in now without feeling the level of pain that I felt. Because I can empathize with anyone in any type of distressing situation, because I feel like I looked death in the eye so many times. I borderline seductively dance with the Grim Reaper on a regular basis, and I'm sitting here to tell the tale. There's times where I sit down and I think, like, how did I even survive that? And it's all for a reason. And now circling back to what I'm realizing is that, like, I truly believe that the environments that you immerse yourself in have the ability to either ruin you or build you up or help let you stagnate. And I've been feeling like for a while, so spending a lot of time by myself, let's say 2019 going into 2020 was really, it was really good for me. In fact, let's say 2016, for let's say the last 5 years, 2016 to 2020 was really good, because I have an understanding of myself that I never had for so long. I feel like I took the mask off and understood the person who was beneath the mask. But I feel like my intellect is almost reaching a bit of a stagnation, because I spend so much time alone, and the type of intellectual stimulation that I receive is from what I watch, what I read, and what I immerse myself in. And maybe it's just the quality of the choices, but I'll be watching videos on innovative, like revolutionary people, and I'm just like, I need to immerse myself in spaces that expand and exercise my brain, because it's just the type of conversations and the type of energy exchange that I'm looking for myself. It's very hard to find that for me right now, and I'm yearning for that stimulating and like mentally, just mentally challenging environments. Like, there are things that I want to achieve, that I want to pursue, and I feel like I've been putting it out there that I just attract the right people in my life, and everything is a bit systematic. Like, I'm looking at, for example, music. In fact, my life story is also like how I refound music, and I had to implode to refind, not to even refind it, but to find the courage within myself to start it. But just even the way that I want to do my music rollout, it's been so systematic and calculated, but in that calculation may be a bit of a stringent hold on what I'm doing. But I feel like everything in life is like that. And creating the right connections not only build you as a person, but build your brand and your business as a result. Because I truly believe that your network creates your net worth and is the most valuable thing that you have, because building and forming great relationships with a lot of people, and the right people, and just people that you are on the same page with. Right now, your net worth may not reflect those relationships, but it will, because the right connections just open doors to different types of things. And honestly speaking, like, when I say I really want to make an impact in the world that I live in, I truly want to make an impact in the world that I live in. Like, I'm just tired of running a social commentary on things that I don't agree with, things that I'm annoyed with. Like, even just political structures that aren't doing what they're supposed to. Like, I don't want to sit here and complain. I want to actually be in a position where I can make a change and I can actively contribute basically to the betterment of society as a whole. I truly want to change the world, and I always have, and I've always said it. But at the end of the day, it's less about speaking about it right now. It's more about action, and I just have a fire in me. I feel like that fire has always been there. I've always been a very assertive and a very just goal oriented and just success driven type of person. And the stagnation came because I had to work out the stuff within myself. And just being in a sense of gratitude and being in a higher perspective, it's truly a blessing that the last 8 years happened the way that they did, because I needed this to happen before I had a lot on the line to lose for an implosion to happen. Like, I was able to have an implosion out of any limelight. I was able to have an implosion without billions of dollars in my hands. I was able to have an implosion, self-actualization, and a spiritual awakening in the comfort of myself. And I was able to be inconspicuous and not have a lot, just not have a lot on my shoulders while I was going through it. And I feel that it all happened the way that it did for a reason. Like I say often, where you are may not be your fault, but or where you are or who you are may not be your fault, but where you'll be and who you'll be is up to you. And honestly speaking, every single great person that I know had an obstacle that they had to overcome. It's just that in your story, you need to identify moments where you're like, damn, that was my trial. And there are multiple trials in life, but there's normally the big one before the big things start happening. And facing it head on and just carrying on with it is something that I'm really proud of. And I truly feel like it's happening. Like, now is the time. I tend to overthink and want to conform, and looking around and be like, this is what everyone's doing, but I shouldn't care because I've never cared. Like, sitting at freaking, what time is it? Like 1 in the morning in a hoodie that I've been wearing for like 2 days, and like watching an interview, and I just feel inspired to pull out my camera and speak, is something that's just me and something that I need to embrace because that's just my truth. And it, like, trying to make myself aesthetic or conform to like the world of YouTube is just not something that I can do anymore. I've spent so much time alone that the only other people mainly that I spend time with are my mom when she comes back from work, and YouTubers that I watch on a daily basis. And at the end of the day, if they say you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, if you spend most of your time with the 1 or 2 people, pay attention to the top 3 internet personalities that you invest your time in, because you're going to slowly become those people. That is one thing that I can say to the world. And like, superficial drivers, just, it's never been me, you know, like aesthetic or this or that. But I'm starting to realize that me not caring about my outfit's appearance was also just a reflection of how badly I felt inside. So yeah, before I drift on, it's just about finding a balance. And I think about like some of the most productive and optimistic times in my life, and it was when I was pursuing business dreams with people who were like-minded. And I truly want to get back in that space right now, because honestly, intellectual stagnation is something that just is a no in my life. I've had so much spiritual progression that I also need to match that trajectory with my mental evolution too. So when I say mental, I also mean intellectual. So yeah, that's just something that's been on my mind. A few things actually. So yeah, this is an insert from me in the AMs. And yeah, this is as raw and as truthful as it gets, guys. So yeah, like I normally say, I'll catch you on the flip side. Light and love your way, and please just do something today that will enhance yourself as a person and will aid into the creation of a better future that you envision for yourself. I'll catch you all in the next one. Light, love, and great vibrations.